Group conferences have failed to fully involve hapu and iwi, and the services have been patchy and been inconsistent. The Commissioner, Judge Andrew Beecroft, says the system is under-resourced and needs significant change and improvement. We'll speak to him in just a moment, but first here's our political reporter May Heron.
Family group conferences are supposed to bring together whānau, iwi and social workers with the goal to make sure a child or young person is safe and well cared for. But Dame Tariana Turia says that doesn't always happen.
Well, half the time they're not involving even the family. It's very much driven by the department, not by the family.
The report by the Children's Commissioner reviewed 6 sites run by the now disestablished agency Child, Youth and Family. The Commissioner focused on the agency's coordination of the conferences and making sure everyone that needs to attend is there and well prepared. The sites that were assessed were hand-picked as exemplars, yet the Commissioner found practice was inconsistent, resources lacking, training patchy and an insufficient amount of participation from the young people, whānau and iwi. Dame Tariana, who has been a strong advocate for the care of Māori children, says whānau and iwi participation is pivotal to keeping young people safe.
If you function as, say, my family does, our children, our grandchildren belong to all of us. And so we don't see them as being specifically belonging to just 2 people. So we expect to be consulted. We expect to be able to have a say about what happens in the long-term interests of those children.
Oranga Tamariki has now replaced Child, Youth and Family and says it has made changes such as better training and mentoring for staff and trialling external iwi-based coordinators. The Ministry's Manager for Professional Development, Joe Harrison, says there is still a way to go to fixing the processes.
So we are investing new resources, really very much aimed at ensuring that we do find the right whānau and that we extend our reach to the whānau around the child, making sure that we facilitate their participation into that conference.
Ms Harrison won't be drawn into who is responsible for the previous poor facilitation of family group conferences.
What we're working on at the moment is how we move towards the future and how we take the lessons that the Commissioner has given to us and that we're really actively working towards as a new ministry to make sure we take those lessons and improve our practice from that point on.
The report has also been sent to the Minister for Children, Tracy Martin. For Morning Report, May Heron.
It's coming up to 12 minutes to 8 and the Children's Commissioner Andrew Beecroft is in our Wellington studio. Good morning.
Te Mario.
So we've been hearing there family conferences without family even taking part in them. I mean, what sort of significant failings has your report found?
Well, I mean, the starting point is to say that Family Group Conference was a fantastic innovation in 1989 as a decision-making mechanism for involving family, whānau, wider hapu, community resources, victims and youth justice. Nothing beats it when it's done well. But as you say, it would be a contradiction in terms of families weren't there. So I guess our key concerns, we did this in collaboration with Child, Youth and Family in the hope that there'd be good lessons and opportunities for Oranga Tamariki moving forward. We found inadequate and insufficient engagement with even children and young people, also their families, insufficient and inadequate identification of hapu, iwi, community resources. Sadly, I think there had been capped resources in terms of funding for family group conferences. The whole idea would they be out in the community, but too many were being held in SIF's offices.
It sounds like it had come down to a tick box exercise. Like we're supposed to hold one of these, we'll just do it, but we're not thinking about the children, we're not involving the family, and that it really wasn't functioning well at all.
No, I think that would be overstating it. I mean, I think there were patches of excellent practice and the linchpin of the system is the family group conference. But I think you're right to an extent that over time, with resource constraints, with lack of consistent training, things had atrophied slightly and shrunk. And paradoxically, what it was designed to replace, that is government official decision-making, it had swung too far back to that direction. So it was much more than a tick box exercise, but the real vision of 1989 hadn't been realised, and that's our concern.
And so we know the new ministry is supposed to be very child-focused. What they're doing now with these conferences, are they going to have enough resources to do the sort of things that you say was originally envisioned when they were set up?
Well, the first thing to say is we're very encouraged that Oranga Tamariki largely agree with all that we are saying and maybe had reached their own independent conclusion about that anyway.
Can they put it into practice, though?
Oh, I'm really optimistic that they can. I mean, we had a chance in '89 for what might be called a revolution. Judges and lawyers don't talk in those terms very often, but this is a second chance to get it right. I believe they can. I'm confident that they can. Part of my job is as a watchdog and monitor of what goes on. We'll be watching carefully, but all the early signs are encouraging that there's a real commitment to make a difference. But Philippa,
on top
it has
of the commitment,
to happen.
the resources, though, that seems to be the failing before. Did they now, this new ministry, do they have the extra resources to put it into practice?
Well, the expert advisory group, the real commitment that Oranga Tamariki will be a new organisation, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do it differently. Everything we're told is the resources will be there, and they have to be.
And you'll be watching to make sure it works?
Absolutely, it's part of my job.
Thank you very much for your time. That's Andrew Beecroft, the Children's Commissioner. It's 9:09.
Well, it's that time again. Christmas tree vendors are popping up everywhere. Cherries are back in season, and dubious Christmas albums are being dusted off at every shopping mall around the country. In Auckland, the residents of Franklin Road have been hard at work readying their lights with this festive season, marking their 25th year